What's going on? What's going on? I want to thank y'all once again for joining me. Hey, it's season 2, episode 1, the Sunday Addiction. You know, I be with my boy Poe on Thursday nights, but I got this hot show tonight. I got some great guys that's on the lineup. And hey, I had to bring it to the ladies. They wanted to know how men think and feel about dating as a single brother. So I have some wonderful guests with me. I'm going to bring them on live and we're going to kick this show off. I want y'all to sit back, enjoy the show. And hey, it's going to be a blast. Welcome to Mississippi Vibes with Bert. I'm finna bring my guys in. Fellas.
What's going on?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Is it really fellas? Because I see somebody else in the background.
Exactly.
For the singles. I thought it was for the singles.
Oh, there she is already. She's just like her mother, man. That's my girl. Oh man, how you doing?
Hey.
Show was already invaded.
What's up? You go sit down now.
Okay.
Oh, where'd Bert go?
I think he lost connection, probably.
Wow, man, that's bad for business. We looking bad as a unit from the start.
Look, already.
Oh, he live. I thought he recorded. He could have chopped that up.
Terica, you out the way, you messing up the stream.
I'm out the way.
Okay. Hey, let's jump right in it, man. I apologize about the technical problems. Hey, would y'all introduce yourselves so we can get started? Whoever want to go first. Come on, Marcus.
Yo, this is Marcus Rebuke Jones from Huntsville, Alabama. You know, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rebuke Podcast, which stands for Reestablishing Black Unity, Knowledge, Education, and Economics. So we focus on key issues dealing with the African American community and try to bring solutions on by bringing guests on the show. And I'm glad to be here. Yeah. The next person can introduce themselves.
Michael from North Carolina, currently reside in the DC metro area. Do cybersecurity and IT during the day, and on the side, I help my community grow where I can.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Revels, aka B Red from the DMV area. So for those who not in the area, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Work for the Department of Army, spare time, do volunteer work with GRTC students when they are not in the not affected by the pandemic.
I guess I'll go next. I'm Isaiah, a veteran of myself, actually. I'm working in the tech field. I got a podcast called Mental Health Podcast. It's a men's mental health podcast focused on men, hyper focused on Black men. The mission statement is to help with the elevation and progression of all Black men in the United States of America. Case in point, basically, I interview mental health professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, licensed professional counselors, LMFTs, in order to give information to Black men so that we can basically break self-destructive cycles.
Josh Amos, Tupelo, Mississippi. Originally from Connecticut, was in the Air Force. Currently work with the USDA doing IT support.
Oh, sure.
Mississippi, what's going on?
So everybody works for the federal government on here. Okay.
I see we got a couple of veterans too. Okay. I see former Air Force.
I mean, I don't, but I used to. But, weren't bad.
Hey, let's jump into a lot of ladies want to know about this dating scene, dealing with single brothers, career brothers. So we're gonna jump right into it. What is the biggest misconception about men and dating? And I'll start off. Brandon, can you grab that one first?
Wow. Okay, that's fine. Oh, what's the biggest misconception about men and dating?
Right.
Oh, I think the most common one is when taking a woman out on the first date, we instantly want sex at the end of the night.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Anybody else want to touch on that? What you done ran across as your biggest misconception?
I think I had to agree with Brandon. The misconception for, I think a lot of women want to put black men in a category, group them in a category because they date a particular man. But based on this panel and hearing what I just heard, we have a different variety of black men on this show. That if I don't know everyone, but based on what I hear, we're probably very educated brothers on this show. So, speaking for myself, I got a master's degree. So what I heard, I believe all these brothers are experienced with that. The misconception is sex. I mean, but we are men. We love sex. I mean, women got to understand that's just a human anatomy. Sex to us is like almost close to breathing. But that's the misnotion. For me is mental stimulation. You can't stimulate my mind. You ain't worth a damn thing to me. So, I mean, yeah, you can have a butt the size of Texas, but if you ain't mentally stimulating, we can't have a future. So, the misconception with a lot of black men is that we always want sex all the time, which is a human thing, is natural. But we also need to be mentally stimulated in order for us to progress as a couple and as a community. That's all I gotta say, Bert.
All right. Anybody else want to touch on that one?
I want to, not try to push the conversation forward, but to give them not to give them the credit. I mean, there are some brothers who, and we know it. Let's be real. We all grew up with the crew. And if you got a crew of 5, there's at least 2 that's only chasing skirt. But like you said, it's called nuance. Like, there are majority of us as men in 2021. It's a balance. Like he said, it's natural. It's for nature in order for us to have the instinct to want to procreate. That's how we as a human race are going to not become extinct. Now, you have higher conscious men who use their reason and their brain to like, okay, there's more for that. Now, for the woman who asked that, there's something clear and obvious that your character of judgment is trash. So clearly, the men, you are not using clear and effective foresight. You're not listening and you're not watching as much as you claim. Like, I hear so many women claim like, we 2-3 steps ahead and we know what y'all doing. So why y'all still complaining every day that these men want sex and you keep getting played? I thought y'all had some women's intuition and premonition. But anyway, clearly you're some women. Let me chill. I like balance. I don't like to go hard on any sex, but clearly some of y'all or majority of y'all judgment of character is garbage, and yet you keep running into those men. So for you, it seems like your perception is majority of us only want sex. No, it's the majority of men you allow in your space. I just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I think that Dr. Miles kind of put it best, is that women need affection in order to, the way he put it, is to function. And for men, sex is how we feel closest to a woman. And that's something we need versus what we want. So that's just my little input on that.
What's the doctor's name again?
Dr. Miles Monroe, he's passed maybe about 6-7 years ago now. But you can type him up on YouTube and you can find a lot of his stuff. And he talks about relationships.
Hey, so Mike, what's your ideal woman?
For me, to be honest, I mean, it's really about energy. Like, you know, if I could sit and have a conversation with you for hours on end about any and everything, then that's going to be the start. Physical's nice, but the physical's not everything, because one day, you know, the physical's going to go away. You know, all it takes is an accident and the physical's gone. So if there's nothing else there, there's no substance, then, you know, there's not going to be any value to keep me interested. You know, I'm a hustler. You know, the hustle never stops. I'm always grinding. So if our conversations can be catered towards how we're trying to grow to do something and ultimately do something together, then, you know, that attracts me. You know, that holds my attention, and that's going to make me want to continue to invest time in you, separating aside from the physical. Because to be honest, you know, some guys can separate the physical from everything else. So if you take the physical off the table, you know, what's left mentally and emotionally?
Talk to me, Marcus.
Also just got finished speaking.
Yeah, talk to me about what's your ideal woman.
My ideal woman, man, I mean, to me, my ideal woman is somebody I can grow with mentally, spiritually, and financially, man. When I mean financially, I'm talking about generational wealth. Like the brother Mike said, I mean, it's a great thing to have a woman that's attractive. That's just, like I said, it goes back to nature. But what else do you bring to the table? So my ideal woman is a beautiful woman that I can grow emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially with. And she uplifts me as much as I uplift her. So that's all I got to say on that, Bert.
I appreciate it.
The thing about that is that with as a man, you're going to see that attraction is what you see initially. But if she can't keep a conversation, and if what's on the inside is actually ugly, to me, that's a turn off right there. I don't care how pretty she looks, how fine she may be. That means nothing to me, because when you get older and those looks fade, and now what do you have left? If she can't talk to you, you can't have a conversation, and you can't, you know, if you're just stuck with the physical in that physical phase, now what?
Oh, I didn't think he was done. But I want to ask a sub if I can. I'm not trying to take over your show, but the sub's question is ideal even real? Like, so I'm only 28, and dealing with my generation or my era is very weird right now. It's very funny. There's a big movement about women empowerment, and I'm with it to a certain degree. And this feminism thing is funny. And so, if you ask me what is ideal, I'm a realist. I work in technology, and so I'm logical and analytical by nature. And so I don't really think about a human being ideal. I think about what I'm with, where my hands are, the cards I'm dealt with, how I'm going to play the game. And so right now, if I say what's my ideal woman, I personally would feel dumb saying it, because I know it's a dream. It's not going to happen. All right. I've been single since September. Been out in the space, been talking to a lot of women in my age range and a couple years up. And the dating pool is really a cesspool. It's garbage. I mean, to me. So I can't really. I mean, I have personality traits I have physical preferences. I'm a butt man myself, but an ideal woman that's gonna check off 10, my list of 10, that's not a thing. So I can't.
So
Sorry, I can't answer that question.
I'm a challenge you a little bit on ideal, right? So I read this book called Understanding is Key. And one of the things that he spoke about was how many people have been in love, right? Everybody says me. And then he said, okay, so when the person you're in love with can no longer do the things for you that they used to do, why do you stop loving them? And so what came out was you didn't love them. You loved the things that they did for you. You loved what they did for you. You didn't love them, the person. And a lot of times you don't know what that is because we as individuals don't know what we want and need ourselves. So, we need to take the time to really find out what we want and need in a relationship in order to deliver that to someone else. Because if you don't know what you want and need, how you know if you're getting what you want and need from somebody else? Take the material things aside. If that person can no longer do anything for you, your feelings for them should never change.
Yeah, because it's a choice. It's a daily choice. You choose to be in that relationship, just like if you're married, you choose to be in that marriage every single day. There's nothing that's going to keep you there if you don't want to be there.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Cool. So another question I was shot. How do you feel about a woman who was a serial dater and you trying to get to know her?
Man, I'll chime in on this one right here, right? So, they say date them all, spend time with them all. You got to earn exclusivity, ABC. I think that's a load of crap because when you're investing time in a whole bunch of people, how are you spending time getting to know somebody? Your time, that time that you have is divided by however many individuals you're dealing with. That's energy for however many individuals you're dealing with. And now that energy from those individuals is commingling with the energy from the other individuals. So unless you take the time to really, go one-on-one with somebody, you're not going to have a level playing field to really get to know them because your attention is always going to be spread out to the next 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever people. That's just my personal preference. If you like it, I love it. So I'm not here to judge, but I don't think that being a serial dater really affords you the opportunity to get to know somebody because your attention is divided. I'm from the South. I like you, you like me. Let's hang out and see what we could be. You keep it simple, but it ain't got to be, all right, I got Shirley and Suzanne on Sunday, Terica and Keisha on Monday, and however the case may be, that's not really necessary. Like in the DMV, it's easy, to be a serial dater, but the reality is, do you really have the time and resources for that?
I personally disagree, but I would like to get Brandon B. Rail's perspective on that. And I need to know the definition of a serial dater because this sounds like a undercover Lori Harvey question. But somebody, please give me a definition.
So Lori Harvey did it at different times. A serial dater is doing it at the same time. Dating 10, 11, 12 people at the same time. Not Brandon in January, Mike in February, Theo in March, Josh in April, Bert in May. That's different. A serial dater, someone is dating a series of people all at the same time.
Well, I'll let Brandon chime in then. I did not bring the hammer.
But like Michael said, pretty much serial daters, like they pretty much have their whole week lined up with different individuals that they're out spending time with. Me personally, I look at that as a flag. I'm not in the business of competition, especially when it comes emotionally, when you have emotional connections with the individual. So me purposely, I mean, if it's already brought to my attention or I've already have observed somebody that is a serial dater, I just tend to stay away from that. Sometimes as individuals, we gotta just, when you notice or you see those flags, just pay attention to them and just take it for what it is and keep it moving versus trying to see, well, maybe I can be a difference for that individual. Sometimes it's just best just to save your energy as well as your patience.
So
take people for who they are.
So I'll be kind of like I don't want to always be the devil's advocate, but I'm I'm big on nuance, and so I'm not even gonna talk about whether men do it or not. I'm not gonna make it a sex thing or nothing, but
Well, it's already a sex thing. It's all men. But go ahead.
I don't want to battle of the sexes. I should say I'm big on autonomy. You know, everybody should have self accountability and shit. But what's the real? What issue do you said? He said what his red flags were, and so what if her or his end goal really isn't trying to actually settle down versus them getting comfortable with, I don't know, being a socialite, going out. Maybe they're an introvert and trying to get comfortable with the energy of another man. Maybe they're trying to figure out and tweak men as a whole, so to speak. I mean, what if she's just out having fun being young? As like you said, the Lori Harvey, I don't want to talk about it, but what is other than on our side saying, yes, you're wrong for wasting a bunch of men's time. You look like you're out here just getting free meals, and plenty of women do it. I actually befriended some women. Let me be clear. Let me just let it out there. I've been actual friends with women, and they know it too, and they won't be accountable and give it up. Those women mostly are going on multiple dates for free meals, free $200 date, free trips.
Come on.
Likely those men are tricking, giving up money.
Come
So,
on.
keep it a buck.
Come on.
But at the same time, what if they're getting it off and these men are allowing it? What's the real issue? That's my point, though. Like, if we got a problem with it and we're looking at them like, oh, you're just wasting time and I'm not in the competition, those men are allowing it. So who's really the fault here?
Maybe that's just something they want, because if those men are willing to pay for it, then that's how they choose to live their life. You know, they didn't truly want anything substantial to begin with, in my eyes. If they're just willing to, I guess, for calling it whining and dining and flying and taking them around the world to get what they want, and if they ultimately got what they want, then is it wrong? Did they achieved their goal and she achieved hers?
So have y'all, any of y'all dealt with these serial daters that T, have you dealt with any type of serial daters that put you in this uncompromised, uncomfortable situation, the reason that you feel the way you feel?
I've not dated them, and I definitely wasn't on their roster in rotation. If I was, it was unbeknownst to me. And so if they got me, hey, I didn't know. If I would have known, you wouldn't have got that dollar out of me. But like I said, I actually speak and talk to and listen to women. And there's one girl I specifically know from Facebook. She literally said this, and I was like, you out your mind if you think I'm finna. But anyway, she wanted to go out. She's been pressing me, I guess you could say. She's been ominous and trying to leave breadcrumbs to get me to ask her if we wanted to date. And then we was at this little party, get together. And someone asked her how many dates we going on. She said, I've been going on dates all week. I've been on dates 5 times this week. And I'm like, so I'm thinking in my head, I didn't ask. I'm like, are you dating or are you just chilling? Somebody else asked her that. And she was like, oh, a date is anything. If you can go on a date with your mom, you can go on a date with your cousin. If you have a predetermined date in the future to do anything, that's a date. I said, oh, you must be out your rabbit ass mind. You take me out of my house to burn my gas to meet you and to pay over $60 for you to think I'm just a casual friend or something. That's not dating. That's another issue. People are throwing this dating word around, this love word around, you're my boo word around and all that. And people are just really effing around. Both of us, men and women. Nah, I ain't never been in that situation. That's why I actually try to talk to these women and try to listen. Excuse my French, I ain't with the fuck around. I ain't just out here to be paying for you to get your stomach full. Nah, homie don't play that.
Yo, Bert, let me jump in.
Go ahead, dog.
I personally think the reason why Black women are in the state they are when it comes to dating is because they don't date enough. You get what I'm saying? Dating is like gambling. And for us men, let's keep it a buck. We never put all our chips on one chick. I would never put all my chips on one chick. Now I might have some chips here with Tanya. I might have some chips with Sharonda, and I might have some chips with Tamika over here. Now it's up to, based on how they perform on these dates, I might move these chips over to the next person. But serial dating is totally different. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to really get to know this man, these men, to figure out which one men is for you, I have no problem with that. But if you're the chick that Theo was talking about, and I'm spending $80 or plus on a meal, so because you're too lazy to go in the kitchen and cook for your damn self, that's the problem, and that's why brothers about Netflix and chill. Why would I spend $80 when I can just chill over the crib? You get what I'm saying? So it's that the word dating has been taken out of context. Dating is supposed to be to get to know someone. Now women are being players and max and getting free meals and bragging about their girls. I worked for the government. I had a girl admit that she used to play dudes, and she saved this dude's name under Ruth Chris in the phone. So every time he calls, it shows up Ruth Chris. So she only calls him when she want to go to Ruth Chris. So
that's crazy.
So you got to, you like you said, Theo, you got to know the game. You got to find out what this woman's intentions are. And a player, I used to live in Detroit for 7.5 years. And they taught me how to date. Is that you don't take them out to them fancy restaurants. You take them to the coffee shop so you can hear them talk. Now, if they ain't talking about nothing at the coffee shop, ain't no damn way I'm taking you to Ruth Chris. But that's just my thing, because I think men serial date, women should date to make sure they get the right dude, so they won't have 2 or 3 baby daddies dropping them off on Father's Day. You get what I'm saying? You need to find out who's the right guy, but don't be using these dudes for free meals and red bottoms and free trips. That's all I gotta say, Bert.
Or the part. So a bit of advice that if there is any men watching, if you are not sure about this woman and whether or not she's using you for food or money, all you gotta do is not even. I wouldn't say Netflix and chill, because that's not how you get. That, women already know that's you just want some butt. This is what you do. Like he said, either the coffee shop, the park, go somewhere outside that is free. And how she reacts, if she's well, maybe let me check, or let me see what my girl's doing. Cut. Like, I already know. I don't need to spend money to get to know you. We could be on the phone having a conversation. And if she's pressing you while you're talking, saying, we've been talking for so long. When we gonna go out? When we gonna do this? When we gonna do that? All right, meet me at the park. We do such and such. The park? Cut. Get her out of there. Even if that moment, excuse the toxic shit, I've been fucking bring up Netflix and chill right then and there, because I already know you already trying to get the check out of me, trying to get some food. So y'all remember that.
Hey, check this out.
You just gotta pay attention to what's being said to you.
Check this out, fellas. Somebody, a friend of mine hit me up about God, I can't remember this guy's name. I think his name was Kevin something. He be online. Kevin
Samuels.
Right.
Samuels.
So the question was, what is an average woman? Because it's this thing about average now. What is the average woman? You know what I'm saying? So, in y'all mind, what's an average woman? Or what's
all of
what
our
are the
definitions are probably going to be different.
I'm with Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, all of our definitions are probably going to be different, because all of our preferences are more than likely different. So,
okay, what's your average woman?
That's like a tricky slope, because you start trying. It's almost hard to define to me, because this woman may have qualities that I like about her, but this other lady has different qualities that I also like. But how can I compare the two? How do I average between the two? Is it fair to average between the two? Or is it just me, what I determine, what I like or want from this woman? Not just women in general, but this particular person, and taking her for who she is versus what I think she should be. No, I that's tough to me to go, well, and that, can I say, is it how much money she makes, the car she drives, where she lives? How do I truly say this is an average workman outside of maybe, okay, if you say, is she like a high earner? No, she's making 6 figures plus. She's driving a Benz. Depending on my level, she may be considered above average, but to someone else who's on that level, she's now average. So I don't know how to truly define that.
I got you.
I mean, let's keep it
grab it
simple.
next?
Let's keep it simple, right? Average. No drive, no determination, no focus, content. You get up every day, go to the same job, no drive to do better, no goals to be better. Your schedule is routine. You know, there's no drive. You cool being stuck in that same position for 10, 15 years, no drive to do nothing better. For me, that's average. But when you come across somebody that has goals and is driven, that elevates your stock, that increases your stake. You know, but I do agree that, you know, somebody that's making considerably more money than you, that might make her seem average because she ain't on that level. But for me, average is more so about what you're presenting to the world, finances aside, because there's some people out here making 50 grand a year that's got more and doing more than somebody making 200,000 a year. So finances ain't always the key, but if there's no drive, no determination, no goals, then I got to go and put you in the average stack. Because those are the things that drive somebody like me, because that's how I'm built. You know, I'm very goal oriented. I'm very driven, and the hustle never stops. I said that earlier for me.
So it goes back to what Josh is talking about. Every man's going to have a different definition of average, and I feel this is a ticking time bomb question because the vultures are going to be flying like, who the hell you got the audacity to call me average? You know what I mean? Nigga, you average.
Not only that, they probably say you're below average.
Right. Nigga, you ain't 6 feet. You average. Man, get Brandon in here, man. He too quiet, man.
Y'all wild. I mean, there's not much to say. I feel in terms of what defines individual average is going to differ from each particular individual's perspective. I mean, my average might be somebody's above average. I mean, I can be considered trash by a female, but by considering other females, I'm like on top of the world. So, I mean, to me, I feel it was really not a good way to fully answer that particular question, like where you have a constant definition, because it's going to vary from person to person.
Right.
Right. Basically, just say, you know, average is the perspective of the person you ask.
Right.
That's like a trick question.
Yeah. But hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I want to thank y'all again for joining us on this Sunday night, this Mississippi Vibes with Bert. I have my guy Michael, Brandon, Theo, Josh, and Marcus with me. We discussing different questions, you know, dating questions that women want to know about dating a single brother in 2021 and beyond. So we'll go into the next question. This is gonna be funny. I know y'all gonna trip. Why are men intimidated by an independent woman?
Ain't no intimidation. A lot of times for me personally, it comes down to a woman who is too independent to where she won't allow you to step in and do something. As soon as you try to take on something, because she's done it for so long, it's hard for her to let it go. So now you're bumping heads trying to do the most minuscule task. So it's like, okay, I understand you're independent. I want you to be independent. I need you to be independent because I don't need to have to always do something for you or be around to do it. But don't be so independent that you won't let me in so I can do things. I don't want to have to elbow you out the way so I can do something for you. No, let loose of the reins and allow me to do it. And then, okay, see that I can handle it, understand that I can handle it, and be good with it. So that's just my opinion. I don't want to get too long-winded on it.
I mean, for me, it's when that independence evolves into a mindset that I don't need you. You can't do nothing for me. I'm above you. I'm better than you. You know, that the execution of that independence creates this attitude that you just don't want to deal with. And so most men are like, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I don't need you telling me every day you don't need me. I don't need you telling me every day how you are, the CEO of a Fortune 500. That's cool. Be humble, live your life, and execute day in and day out. But you don't have to rub that in every day. I'm independent. I don't need you. Bump bros, get money. That's usually the mindset that turns the fellas off.
Hold on, Mike. The what?
F niggas get money. That's the mindset. That turns you off. But you've got some that are out here.
Bump bros.
Bump bro. I tried to give. I gave you the PG-13 version of it. I said,
yeah, he was trying to censor it.
Right.
We want this to premiere.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, he was trying to censor it. He wasn't quite sure the rating of this podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have some that's doing their thing, and they don't have to. They don't have to speak about it every day. They don't have to talk about it all the time. Their energy says it. You know what I'm saying? The way they carry themselves, the way they walk, the way they talk, they're very articulate. They exude that day in and day out. They don't need to tell you, I'm independent, I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? You can see that they doing their thing. And that's gonna make you either level up or step off.
Exactly.
I feel a true independent woman don't even let you know that they're independent. Their actions just speak for themselves. If you somebody that has to versely put it out there that I'm an independent woman, to me, that's definitely not attractive. That's something I'm gonna stay away from.
Come on. Theo, I don't know, Theo, you want me to get in or you? It's like hopscotch.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna go last. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It goes back to what Theo, said earlier, man. It's a difference between being independent and self-sufficient. You get what I'm saying? I make a decent salary. I have a decent job and everything. I got a home, whatever. But I would never say I was independent. I'm always depending on somebody, man. I need my mom for something. I need my dad for something. I need my sister for something. I need my brother for something. I will never say, yo, I'm independent, bro. Do you know what the word independent means? That means you can do by yourself. So if you're independent, you don't need a man. You don't. And secondly, basically what Theo is saying, what type of men you talking to? You get what I'm saying? I done had women said I was intimidating. But that's the type of women I don't want, because if you find me intimidating, it is probably 9 times out of 10 is probably on intellect. You know what I mean? It's not because what I have or what I acquired throughout my life. I ain't no millionaire. I ain't no billionaire. So, and I'm not physically opposing. I'm not 6'10" or anything like that. So what makes me intimidating? Is that maybe because you can't run over me? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the term independent, I'm not scared of an independent woman. I'm with Brandon. Any woman that got to constantly bring up I'm independent, you're not worth anything anyway. So I mean, I'm attracted to self-sufficient women. Independent woman is very unattractive. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I like that word, self-sufficient. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So I literally I looked up the word actual literally. And so I'm probably, I don't know how long it's been going on for y'all, but I know I assume I'm the youngest. And so this thing has ballooned. This has popped in my generation. One thing let me give credit where credit is due. Yes, the statistics are Black women are the highest earning and highest degreed demographic in America. I don't have statistics, but I read plenty of articles. It's true. We get it. I'm gonna give you the hand clap. I got you. I do mind if you throw it up in my face too many times. I don't mind you being braggadocious because rap, let's say men in rap, we talking about what we do, how we get what we get, and what we running through all the time. Be proud of your accomplishments. Do you? Here's my problem. I'm gonna swing it. Most of the women who are independent, they're really moving towards this feminist movement. So the independence thing isn't my problem. I don't got a problem with that. It's when they throw in this independence with, we deserve this because of this, or you're not gonna do this because I've been doing this. You ain't gonna come here and tell me what this and that. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm not trying to tell you nothing. You are a grown woman before you even met me, right? You started this little business and you brought it up to 6 figures and freaking, you don't need anybody. And most of these independent women are single mothers, right? But like I said, the independence isn't a problem. I have no problem with feminism. I believe there needs to be equality in work. But the thing with independence is they bounce it between this whole gender role thing and freaking equality. So which one is it? If you're truly independent, you can be able to do whatever you need to do without having to ask me, right? That's my problem. When you get in a relationship, you claim to be independent, but you asking me to take out the trash because you've never taken out the trash and you've only seen men do it. Hold on, time out. I thought you was independent. I mean,
hold on. Wait. Hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
Theo, hold on, Theo, because you hold on, Theo. Hold on, little brother. We gonna call a timeout.
Mike, let me finish, Mike.
Hey, y'all.
Let me finish, Mike.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, because
I just wanted to say I would feel bad if I didn't, try and take my little brother under the wing and say. So some of the things that you're pointing out are have nothing to do with a woman being independent, right? Like my lady ain't got to ask me to take the trash out. That's how my grandmother raised me. That ain't got nothing to do with her. You know what I'm saying? That's me being a man and how I was raised. So that ain't got nothing to do with her being independent. You know what I mean? So be careful when you start talking about independent because that's, things like that, acts of service, if you will, are a part of chivalry. You know what I'm saying? You see the trash is full, take it out. It ain't got nothing to do with being independent. It'd be real foul if I sit there like, yeah, dang, that trash can full. What you gonna do about that? Knowing that my grandmother raised me better than that. You know what I mean? But I feel what you're saying.
Mike, you gonna really bring love language in this?
Thank you.
You really gonna bring that in here, brother?
I was trying not to use words that was gonna make y'all have to pull out a dictionary now.
I'm with you in
discussion got awkward.
I'm with you what's the word? I'm with you in execution. I didn't mean it literally. This is I said that in basically in hyperbole. Like, I'm not saying I sit around and wait for her to take out the trash and say, aha, you claim to be independent. I'm saying in the conversation of when I'm talking to these women and how they speak about it, they aren't able to articulate within logic and reason into me about what exactly they mean. I brought it up like that because it's in conversation with the women I'm talking about. No, yes, I don't believe in gender roles as in, I'm going to take the trash out when it's full. I'm not going to sit here and watch you say you're independent. But on the flip side, I expect her to do the same thing and don't sit up here and say you're independent but yet again, I should be taken out the trash. I don't believe in that. I don't know. I just don't believe in that, right? I don't believe in you bringing up any of that. I mean, maybe I'm conflating two issues. To me, when I speak to young women in 28, 29, 30, that's what they're talking about, though. If it don't make sense, they're not making it make sense to me. They're conflating all these issues and bringing them together. So
yeah, it almost sounds like you're bringing logic to an emotional conversation, and that's the
And it's
thing
not
that
gonna work.
a lot of us men, we don't quite get that it's like we're speaking two different languages, and we need to be able to understand the other's point of view in the language that they're speaking in. From as like you said yourself, you're a logical, analytical thinker. That's pretty much the majority of men, to where women are more emotional thinkers. So if we can try to think of it or try to have a conversation and a little bit more into an emotional version of that conversation, then we can better understand what's actually being said to us. And they, in turn, would need to do that for us so they can actually understand what we're trying to say to them.
Big Jim, you just dropped.
Hey,
I mean, I'll be the first. Let's take what Josh said. You know, being able to translate each other's meaning, right? I'm a big advocate of therapy, right? So when you go, the one thing that the therapist teaches you is that every word that's spoken is not for you, but in any dynamic, you have to learn how to translate what that individual is saying into what's meaningful for you, and that goes on both sides. You know what I mean? So that's one of those things that's going to play that part in being able to understand each other is what does she really mean when she says, you know what I'm saying? And the example she used is, you know, you don't never want to spend no time with me. You always doing something. And the real meaning was, hey, I want to spend some time with you. I miss you. You know, but all we hear is the rah, 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 rah. We don't want to hear the rest of that. So, you know, one of the things that both sides needs to do is really figure out how to translate what the other is saying into something that's meaningful, or chew up the meat and spit out the fat.
Exactly.
So here's my question to you.
hey,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Go and finish your last question, Theo. I know you want to get a clear understanding.
Yeah, my bad. But I've been in therapy too. I've been in 2 years and running. And one thing my therapist teaches me is clear and effective communication, right? For how long can that stand? I can't sit here and try to, because that as time grows, as you and this person create a bond, you're right, you need to trim the fat. That exchange of me trying to break this down without you being able to articulate, over time, that's going to take toll on me mentally and emotionally. And I'm going to want to stop doing that. And so I've already predated when my therapist trying to figure that out. She's like, you got to get to a point with this young woman to help her to understand clear and effective communication. And you need to provide that, though. So some people are kinetic learners. Some people learn through either seeing, hearing, or both. And I think you need to figure that out with your woman. But I would challenge that, saying that can't happen forever. We can't sit here talking about what you meant versus getting to the actual issue so that can be solved. You can get lost and go down a rabbit hole saying, what do you mean for 5 years? And now that's a problem on top of the problem you're trying to get to.
Well, the issue is that you let it get to 5 years. You know what I mean? You know, after a couple months, you know, if the communication is not working, then you got a decision to make. You know what I mean? You can't force a square peg in a round hole. You got a decision to make. No matter how much you care about that individual, if the communication ain't there, the rest of it's not going to be there. Not for any tenure.
Maybe that person isn't for you. Maybe you want it to work, but maybe that person just really isn't for you.
Okay. We'll get it off. You got some Bert.
Hey, check this out.
Let me check it out.
Hey, I want to apologize for technical issues I'm having over here with the rain. Is bad over here in my area. That's why I keep going in and out. But got a couple more questions so we can end this. I appreciate it. It's great dialogue between some men. And how can a woman's friend, family, or even kids stop you from dating her?
The fact that they're involved. If they're involved, that means she can't keep her mouth shut about what's going on with y'all. Then nah, she can't make a decision, can't make a thought. She can't have a thought process on her own. Nah, I can't do it. Cannot do it.
AKA no boundaries. Mm-hmm. It's a relationship is between two individuals, and at the time, anytime you open that up to others, you set yourself up for disaster. So because you'll forgive who you with, but family ain't forget nothing. They still mad a year and a half, 2 years later, and y'all trying to walk down the aisle, and the family's like, "Nah, bump that man. We don't like you because of what he did 24 months ago." So yeah, now you gotta have boundaries, and if the boundaries aren't there, then you already know that your relationship is with that individual and everybody else,
right?
They talk to and close with.
Yeah, I've experienced that, and that is not a good feeling at all. To have, they said whatever they said. It's like, okay, who's they? And they can never tell you who they are, but they always have some sort of input into what you got going on.
Anybody else want to touch on that?
I be thinking I'm talking too much, so I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna wait.
Let's add on to this question. Actually, how do you feel about when you're dating a woman, plus also dealing with social media? But when you have an individual that constantly is putting everything either on the gram or constantly everything on Facebook.
I guess I'll take hold of that because that's my wheelhouse, unfortunately. Dealing with women in their 20s, that's all I'm dealing with. But I go for the simple question. If you want me to elaborate, the simple answer is leave them alone. I actually put this out on mine. I use it, but I use it as a tool because I got my own podcast. But I'm not really using it personally for all my own stuff. I only use it for like milestones. And so I put that out there on Facebook. I said, I only seek to be with people who don't have to record and review everything they're doing, every move they got to make. And some young woman said, well, what if they do this for a living? Or what if they're a vlogger? I said, that's fine for your job, but there's a time and a place for everything. Like even if you work a 9 to 5, you have a break, you got a lunch break, and you get off that job. Like you don't have to do this 24/7 while we out here talking about some, hey, it was lit at the kickback, or we at the museum, or blase blah. But to the original question, what was the original question? I forgot the original question.
With social media, always being on social media.
Add it on. I forgot the original question because as you can see, my brain got fried because that's a huge.
How do you feel dating someone whose family is involved?
Oh yeah, so I read
as well as children.
So I'm divorced, and so my therapist was my marriage counselor, and so I read the book Boundaries, and so she was supposed to read it too, but she didn't read it, and that was her biggest issue. But she didn't tell her whole family. But what she didn't get is that there are 1 or 2 people in your family you can't tell because you might as well tell the whole family, the whole hood, because they finna spill your junk out to everybody. And she used to talk to that person, and unfortunately, it was like I ain't gonna get into that because if she sees this, it'll be a problem. But I had to deal with that. I had plenty of conversations with her. I said, what stays in this house, what happens in the house needs to stay in this house. We need to treat this house like it's Vegas. What happens here stays here. And she's like, well, I get advice from who, and I need to talk to my mama to get advice. I said, we got a counselor. We have a licensed marriage family therapist. Like, that's what she for. There's only certain things you need to be telling your mama about. If it is anything that's serious or that I've done or if I've crossed you, we got a therapist. I set this up so we can have these issues solved. So what's the problem? I don't know. I don't want to dig into what women's what women's issues are and what they gotta speak with their friends and blah blah blah. I'm not with it. And watch that. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I like how Judge Lynn told her how she tends to counsel people on relationships is like treat your relationship like an island of two. It's the two of y'all on this island trying to handle what y'all need to handle. You start involving other people, like was said earlier, they're going to remember the negative. They're not going to quite remember all the positive that you've done, but that one negative thing you did, you will never live that down, no matter what it was.
I don't want to veer off from this topic. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Marcus, what you got to say?
Brother, I feel like Theo. I've been talking a lot. I'm going to plead the fifth and maybe wait on the next question. You know what I mean? But
okay, let me hit you with the next question then.
Oh Lord, shit.
How important is your relationship with your mom, and how much of an impact does that play into you, into dating and getting into a relationship?
Man, that's a good question, man. I got a decent relationship with my mom, so if the significant other can't get along with my mother, that it will be a problem. You know what I mean? That's just me. You get what I'm saying? So, passing the test with my dad, my parents still together, so passing the test with my dad is easy. That's an easy test. You know what I mean? Now, getting past my mom and everybody else, that's a hard test, and she ain't gonna make it easy for you. So, but that is very important to me that my significant other gets along with my mother. That's very, very important for me. So yeah, it is. They too got to get along, or it's gonna be trouble for the man. And he shouldn't have to choose between his woman and his mom. That's why. And I don't want to never be in that situation.
So
yeah,
for
a woman
other,
sees another woman.
So for other women who are thinking their real question is,
I was just saying that that women can see what another woman is up to. So if mom's is legit, she's good, and she can almost see through a woman who's not up to anything good for you, not just simply because you're a son, but because she can legit see, oh, I can see what she's trying to do. I can see the angle that she's coming at you that you don't see. Just like a man can see another man and see and know, okay, I know what he's doing. I know what he's talking about. I know what he's about. It's the same thing for her.
Preach.
That's why it may be a little easier to get past dad, because dad's probably like, yeah, oh son, he's probably dapping you up. But mama's like, nah, I can see what's up with her. I can hear how she's talking to me and talking to you. I got that. No, son, this ain't the one for you.
Yeah, that happened to me.
No, go ahead.
Yo, Josh, you totally correct. And my mom was like that with one of my exes, man. And, I brought it over the house and I was so excited, saying one of my first serious relationships. And my mom was like, my dad was dapping me up and my mom was like, she ain't the one, son. Mm-hmm. And that crushed me. But later on, she was right. So mom knows. So
yeah,
for me, if you don't get along with mom, it's some red flags for me.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, I mean, for me, I have an estranged relationship with my mother. So my mother's not that voice of reason. However, my sister and I have gotten close over the years, and she's the one that tries to look out for me in that capacity. And I did the same for her over the years. And we've only grown closer since my daughter was born, So, taking all of those lessons, the lessons I didn't get, the lessons that I'm getting now, family members and things like that, therapy, because there was a lot of bad situations out there. However, therapy has helped to bring everything full circle, and then the relationship with my sister's grown stronger. So, I agree. It doesn't necessarily need to be your mother, but it needs to be someone that has a positive female influence in your life. It could be a friend, it could be a sister from another mister, you know what I'm saying? But having that presence in your life does hold well with being able to, shake down what a potential dynamic relationship, suitor, partner, etc. can be over time.
Exactly.
So I had a comment on this question, and young lady says some mamas are trifling and don't want their son with anyone because it would stop their benefits. Anybody want to comment on that?
No. There are some mothers who are, the beneficiary from a son who may be doing very well, or is always there for her, always supporting her, and that can be a very tough situation because maybe the son might see it, might be feeling it, but it's up to him at that point to continue doing what he's doing or to begin to back off some. But I guess it also may depend on how long has this relationship been going on. Is it brand new? If it's brand new, then look, I'm gonna still do what I'm doing to some degree. I may ease off some, but I don't know how long we're gonna last. And mom's is there forever. So if I'm supporting my mom, and hopefully, I have to be real and truly be like, look, is mom's truly needing my help, or is she interdependent of me to where if I stop doing something, she's going to take me on a guilt trip? Or am I truly supporting her in her time of need? What's happening? And is this lady that I'm talking to, is she maybe a little too sensitive to that? Or is it truly something going on?
I mean, I know for me, over the last 36 years, I've had to compartmentalize that dynamic because my mother didn't do it with females. She did it with my sister. My sister was always the cause of us not having a relationship. My sister was always at fault, if we weren't as close as she wanted. So it never got a chance to get to a girlfriend or a spouse or what have you. But, I do agree. And that dynamic is tough because the relationship has to have tenure. But the reality is you also have to evaluate that dynamic because a lot of times mothers will take advantage of the son because the son isn't cognizant of the impact that what they're doing is having. He thinks, oh, I'm just taking care of mom. But everybody looking in is like, bruh, your mother is truly dependent on you. So she's treating you like her husband or like her boyfriend. That's why she keeps, the girlfriends at bay so that they can't come in because like they say, when a man gets married, the wife becomes number one in the household. My mom used to always say, if you ever get married, I'm number one in your household. So it was at that moment I really knew, like, yo, this is crazy. And it started feeding into the toxicity of the dynamic. And I was able to, continue to build out, being able to compartmentalize all that and really see it for what it was. And that's really what needs to happen. It's not necessarily about how long he's been with, his girlfriend or how long, but being able to identify with what's going on. Is it healthy or is it unhealthy? And if it's unhealthy, you got to make some changes. And that's whether you're in a relationship with somebody or not.
I mean, simply put, the answer is yes. A man's mother, especially an African-American man's mother, is important to him. There's unfortunately a piece in the self-destructive cycle of the Black community of there are a lot of single mothers. And like we all said, they are single, no man in the household. They had to be the father and the mother, bringing them up. It's like a prized possession that I think Black mothers hold. Like, I done did all this work for this boy. I done rode the bus, 2 jobs, all this, and you think you just gonna come along and give him some pum-pum and now mom is out? Now that you got a ring? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But like you said, there's codependency in that. That's what it is. I literally have that problem with my mom. We have a codependent issue, and that almost strung into my relationship. And I had to break it. Basically, another underlying question I know a lot of women are basically really want to say is, who's mama boy? Is you a mama boy? I ain't got time for no mama's boy. But that's a difficult thing to tap go with a black man, because if that's all you had, and that's all a black woman who's his mother has in that world, you can't help but to have some of that dynamic there. Like, she had to feed him. Sometimes emotionally, when mom comes home, she's sad. A little 10-year-old boy is gonna come over and console his mom. What's wrong, mommy? You okay? Why are you crying? Sometimes that's all a son and a mom have. But as a woman, I'm gonna give this advice. You, as a woman, should see that, and you being a more emotional being and more emotionally intelligent by nature than men, you should see that and kind of understand that and be sensitive to that, ladies. Don't obviously keep asking who is and who isn't a mama's boy. Even if he is one, try to understand that unfortunately his mom may have kind of ushered him into that. She's codependent on him. If you really care, try to get to know the man and figure that out and try to help him. Maybe. I don't know if you claim to love him, but that's just me talking out loud.
Hey, Marcus.
Yo,
We go. This our last question for the night. Then we'll have some, final comments. What do you value most when you looking into, dating a person and really moving to the next level, being exclusive and everything? What you value the most?
oh man, that's a deep question, bro. That's deep. What I value most, the ability to grow with the individual, man. That's for me. When I said that earlier, is basically to grow with them spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and financially, man. So that's what I value most when I was in a relationship, man. Just that, and you can say break it down into love and trust and loyalty and sound communication. So that's what I value when I look for in a mate. So I'll keep it straight and simple.
Brandon.
Can you answer the question one more time? Because I'm gonna make sure I answer this correctly.
What do you value most? When you date somebody, you trying to move your relationship into the exclusive lane and all that. What do you value most?
The ability to listen. Simple concept. This is just based off of my personal experience. Pretty much growing up and throughout my stages of life, I pretty much experienced a lot of times where I'm always that person listening, always being that person that a young lady vents to, in terms of my friends or co-workers or time serving in the military, being the listening ear for other people. So the ability to have a partner as well as a friend that actually listens to me is just a powerful and valuable thing to me. A funny thing, I remember watching this one video on YouTube talking about Erykah Badu's secret, why some of these guys go crazy over her when they're in relationships with her. And the thing that she said is, I simply listen to them. It's a simple concept, but it's a powerful concept at the same time, because that just shows how much that you're actually trying to be in tune with the person that you're trying to be with. So for me, it's definitely listening.
I don't know, it was just listening with her, but no.
Bella, it's for me. It's for me. It could be
Brandon for you, but with Erykah Badu, them other brothers. It wasn't just listening, brother. Yeah, but go ahead.
Mike, what you say?
For me, given the life that I've lived, I think empathy is the most important. Being understood. I'm not the easiest person to get along with. I'm not always going to be the most level individual day in and day out. But the ability to take the time to understand me, and understand, really what's going on, understand why I'm like I am. And I'm in turn, I'm going to do the same, you know what I mean? But if we have that level understanding of how each other is put together, then that understanding is going to allow us to maneuver our ebbs and flows going forward, because we're going to keep that understanding in mind, and that understanding is going to lead to growth in other areas, communication, faith, emotionally, mentally, all of that is going to be able to grow as long as there's understanding. If there's no understanding, then you're going to come to a crossroad, not know how to navigate it, and then now the relationship is falling apart.
I'm gonna go because I'm pretty sure Josh gonna drop some gems at the end. That'd be a great way to end.
Yeah.
But my number one thing is self accountability. So being in therapy for so long, you can't go to therapy and not be accountable for self. Basically, all it is someone holding up a mirror saying, "Hey, this is where this stems from. This is why you're doing this. You need to attack this." I can't be with a woman who is at least not aware of what she's doing and trying to be better. And that's a key, trying to be better. Don't just know your attitude. Don't just know you got a mouth. Don't just know you don't know how to communicate clearly. I need you to at least try to be better. From there, I'm getting from you. I get from that. We can work through things, and no matter what things are going through, there's going to be maybe there's going to be some blaming. We're human. There's going to be little blame, but we're going to move past things because you can open your head and your ears to say, oh, that's what I was doing. And if I'm actually proving it, you can say, okay, sorry, I'm wrong. That's going to help move a lot of things along in marriage, period, with the trust, communication, sex, maybe even. You can argue that. That's a pivotal point. That's number one to me.
Josh, it's on you. Yes, sir.
All right. Pretty what I value most is going to be her heart and her mind. If I'm in her heart, she's not gonna hurt herself, and she's gonna more than likely be able to treat me the way I need to be treated. And it's her mind, because I want her to be able to be, like we were talking about earlier, to be an independent woman, but don't be so independent to where, we can't sit and work together. Because I've been married before myself, and one of the worst parts was some of the stuff that we talked about was like having outsiders involved in your relationship, and because she was independent for so long that she ran her household a certain way, and I had to tell her that when I tried to be that dude who, when we got together, we were talking about getting married. Before we got married, I went and got a place that she had children. I don't have my children with me, so it was just me. So I went and got the place. I had literally everything needed for the family, outside of the fact that they weren't there. All they literally had to do was bring some luggage, their clothes, couple beds, and they're good. I had every single thing else as a single dude. And to have that person who didn't truly have me in her heart, and a couple female friends of mine who also said when they spoke to her a couple times, like, they didn't tell me at the time, but they said that intellectually she wasn't there for you. She wasn't at your level of thought. So whenever we would have conversations on different things, she would always talk down on herself from the standpoint of, people always, put me down because of how I speak or how I think about them. Like, why are you concerned about what other people are thinking? I don't care. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I care what you think. And no, that was some of the hardest. That's one of the hardest things to get past, or for someone, an independent woman who, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. So I'll just stick with her heart, her mind, and can we effectively communicate? Can we literally sit down like two adults, look each other in the eye, and be able to actually come up with a plan for your relationship? If it's marriage, for your marriage, can y'all literally do this? And to me, that's a big key. And since you got to cut the show down, so let me. I'll just stop there.
All right, that's it. You done, Josh? Or, we got a few more.
Yeah, I'm good.
You want to go on your chest?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Hey, anybody else want some closing remarks before we close the show down?
I just want to say that it was a good show, man. Good different perspectives from different individuals that I never met before. It's good just to be on a show with different men and see their perspectives and stuff. So overall, Bert, it was a good show, man. And Michael, man, what's up? What's your girl in the background? That's your girl?
No.
That's Bert. That's
my
Bert.
niece.
This little sis.
Oh, okay. So y'all got a connection. Okay. You gotta be careful on this show then. Never mind. Let me close my. I'm glad to be on the show, Bert.
she knows it's no holds barred.
One thing I'd like to
She's
say
single.
is, I'd like to say is that it's good to hear that a lot of us black men are going to therapy and not looking at it as a taboo thing. That's one thing I'd like to, because I've gone myself, and then I'm just really glad to hear and see this.
Yeah, I'm working on that too, Josh. I've been hesitant to go to therapy, but I think I need to take a trip there. So that's good to hear, brother.
Hey man, I encourage all y'all, man. Look up "Understanding Is Key" on Amazon, man. It's by Jeremy L. Holloway. It's a quick 100-page read, but it gives you some perspective that you really never thought about when it comes to being in a relationship, and it's good for both men and women. Being able to understanding is key. You and being able to have the tools to start to understand them. And I everybody I know that talked to me about relationship issues, I push that book. Hey, you need to read this joint. You need to read this joint. I got the paperback, the Kindle. I just listen. It's worth it just to be able to see a different perspective on just dating and on being a black man in today's world.
Yeah, I definitely got to pick that up.
Bert, I just want to say I appreciate the invitation of coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you, gentlemen. Michael, I'll be over to pick up that book. Also, I guess I need to look at up on Dr. Miles Monroe from Josh, from what he mentioned earlier in the show. I also is an advocate of therapy as well. I personally have done it myself, and I truly encourage, especially black men out there, to definitely utilize those services. Especially if you're a veteran, I know VA provides those services as well. So if that's something that you're curious or want to do, I suggest that you do that.
And I'll say myself, thank you for the invitation. I'm enlightened. Thank you, all you brothers, for your different perspectives. And since we drop in literature, these are 2 books straight from a therapist with a master's degree. Once you get, even before you get into a relationship, before and during a relationship, boundaries, that's literally what's called. That's the title. And the next one is How We Love. I don't know the author. It's a long name. It's a black and white book. The author's last name is super long, so you can find it on Amazon. That just helped me immensely. Aside from therapy, that book, reading it, I'm not even done with it. I'll be transparent, but it's helping me along the way. Thank you all. I'm glad to be here. Hopefully, y'all be blessed and safe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, brothers.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hey, Josh, Mike, B, Marcus, Theo, man. Hey, I appreciate it. It was great dialogue that we had. I know it was some crazy questions. You know, Marcus thought I was sending the questions, which is very.
Yeah, you know. So what he was saying was there was some wild questions that came in from the female community. We have to do a part 2 of this. So we can follow up and hope that Bert has a stable internet connection that day. We definitely got to do a part 2 because the questions that you sent, Bert, ain't had shit on the questions I was getting here. You know,
I'm glad you brought that up because he's like a teacher, man. Teacher gave you all these questions, and then we get on the show, they totally different questions, Bert. What's up with that?
Wow, it was a balance. There were some questions that were on that list, and then there was some I was like, wait a minute, that's not what you sent me.
That's right. That means I failed the test.
Prepare.
Yeah, Brady, I failed the test, though.
This joint was like Arsenio when he confronted the racist and told him, "You got a problem? Start your own show." I'm like 4 people in this joint kicking questions, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Called the audible on this guy.
4 women. I'm sorry, 4 women. 4 women's is so when everybody was talking, the judgment was being passed real time on the response.
Already.
We want to know where they getting these women from.
Yeah, I heard it a couple of times on your mic.
We gonna have to start a GoFundMe to get Bert some good internet. You know, they send fire.
I was about to say we gotta call the church and put a offering.
Hey, man. Hey, Mike, I appreciate that. You can cash out me at send me some good money. And, it's all good. I appreciate it, man. I don't know what's going on, what's up. But check this out, brothers. I appreciate it. We'll do a part 2 next week. I got the ladies coming on. So I know that's going to be wild. That's going to be off the handles. I hope y'all tune in.
Probably not.
Hey, but check this out. We're gonna end this. This one of the books I've been reading, Relationship Goals. It's a good book. Michael Todd, he breaks them down. He also has a workbook also. And hey, I appreciate you fellas. Sorry about the technical problems.
There you go, Mike. Take over. And we out.
Flexible on here.
We gotta let him finish at least.
Oh yeah, it's his show. I was hoping Mike can.
Nah, last time that was like a seamless transition when he did that.
Yeah, that was smooth though. I was waiting on Mike to finish it. I was waiting for Mike DVD. That's all, folks. Dang, man, Bert, boy, I tell you.
You got jokes. You need me to hunt for some Westerly Webbits down there?
Theo, man, where you live at, man? DMV?
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, hold on. I'm from Virginia, though. Let's keep it real.
Virginia ain't the DMV player. What part of Virginia?
I'm about to say, yeah, you gotta be more specific.
It is the DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Nah, bro, you better not say Chesterfield. Where you from in Virginia?
No, Arlington either. I'm from Hampton, where the real HU at, right next to Baton Rouge.
That ain't Northern Virginia, man.
Oh man,
you from
That's years up Peninsula.
Hey, Theo, understanding is key. Hampton, not Northern Virginia.
That's the Peninsula.
7 cities.
Norfolk is right. The peninsula is to the east, and you
No,
go up.
bruh. You
Right
ain't from
there.
the 7 cities. You're not from Norfolk. You from the 7 cities.
Norfolk is 40 minutes away, so
Say it with me. 7 cities. I'm from 7 cities.
Get him off you, Theo. He from B.
born and raised there. I know who part of the DMV.
No, you part of Southeast Virginia. You ain't part of what they call the DMV. Baltimore don't even recognize Hampton.
If you say so, Trevor.
Baltimore don't recognize DMV.
They don't.
Oh, man. Well, Bert. Well, fellas, I'm hungry, man. I'm about to get off this show.
All right, well, we gonna go on and all right.
There you go, Bert.
There you go. You need to act quick with his closing remarks.
Yeah. Go ahead and close it.
Close it,
Got a
Bert.
word. Hey, go and sign us off, Bert.
Yeah, you
Oh,
you
y'all
want to be
done?
the Baptist preacher.
Hey, good night, man. We out. Mississippi Vibes with Bert, man. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, peace.
All right.